Hi everybody, this is Dino Chris from Prehistoric Facts. This is a special episode, and we got two mammals to actually talk about here. First one we're actually going to talk about is a type of hippopotamus called Hippopotamus gorgops. Now, Hippopotamus gorgops is gorgon-eyed river horse, and hippopotamus is actually Latin for river horse. Can you believe it? It actually lived the late Miocene and also actually moved up into the Pliocene. And fossils have been found in Africa, and some of them have actually been found in Europe. And so this animal is actually with a length of 14 feet long and high in height, and its weight would have been 8,600 pounds. So this is larger than the hippopotamus that is today, and which is called Hippopotamus amphibius, which is amazing to think. Now, the skull of this animal is actually really large, and so that gives you an idea of like how enormous this animal is. Probably does have the tusks of like a normal hippopotamus that we know today in Africa, and you see, it started out in Africa, but then in the Pliocene, it actually migrated towards Europe, and then once the cooling started happening, it just couldn't actually adapt to that kind of environment. Hippopotamuses usually tend to like warmer environments. Mostly, it's because it's better on their skin, because their skin is kind of actually more designed to actually handle warmer environments, and also they actually can handle environments that actually tend to actually have like a lot more moisture. And so that's why Africa, I mean, yeah, it's dry in the Serengeti, but even though it does still have a lot of moisture, especially when you actually are walking around like in dusk and dawn, and even into some night hours. That's why hippopotamuses come on land mostly around like dawn and dusk, and even at night. It's because it's pretty much where they could get out of the water a lot better. And so, yeah, and I'm considering that humans haven't been around yet during the time of Hippopotamus gorgops, so it would actually be pretty interesting of like how it would have adapted to humans and all that. So, and of course, extinction of Hippopotamus gorgops is that it couldn't adapt to the changes in environment, especially the global cooling, and also new species of animals that were actually coming in and actually kind of taking over what was actually going to be left. And also the Hippopotamus amphibius was smaller and also could actually adapt to the other types of changes in the environment. Alright, the next mammal that we're actually going to be talking about is Megacerops. Now, Megacerops is also called Brontotherium, and Brontotherium is actually the more common name, and so it's the better name used for this mammal. And of course, Brontotherium meaning thunder beast. Fossils have been found in North America, late Eocene, early Oligocene, 38 to 35 million years ago. 16 feet long, and would have weighed around 3 tons. And of course, it's a herbivore. Now, when you actually look at Brontotherium or Megacerops, is that it almost looks like a rhino, or like a rhino combined with a horse. But the thing is that they're not related to either of them. They're actually kind of like its own mammal, and so they actually have. And you see, the main feature of this animal is that its skull. And when you actually look at this animal, you actually kind of see like it's got this like horn-like thing on its nose, and it's got these like little bumps on the back of the skull as well. But that's probably where the ears were. But you see the horn-like thing on the nose is not really like a horn you would think like on say on like a bison or a cow, or otherwise it's not like a keratin like you would think, like on rhinos. But the thing is, but you see, it's actually made of bone. So they're too brittle for combat, so they're not really going to be wrestling with each other with them. They probably just males probably showed them off a little bit more for display purposes, to show off against rival males, and also to show the females to say, hey, I'm a healthy male, I'm willing to mate and all that sort of stuff. And and you see, these animals were really large, and so any type of predator would not dare go anywhere near the adults, and so the adults would have been pretty much safe. The juveniles, on the other hand, are actually very vulnerable. And and you see, Brontotherium has actually gotten some fame in television, basically, is that it was actually in the Walking with Beasts series, and it's in the second episode where you actually find it in Pakistan, facing off against Andrewsarchus. Now, I really don't think Andrewsarchus actually lived around the time where Brontotherium actually has lived, because Andrewsarchus has been found in Mongolia, whereas Brontotherium has actually been found in North America. There's other Brontotheres that have been found in Asia, but they're very different compared to the Brontotheriums that are actually in North America. The Brontotheriums in Asia actually kind of have more elaborate bony, like crusted like horns, and so those would actually be the characteristic of that. Whereas the Brontotheres in North America, they're just kind of like more bumpy type of structure, and so they actually probably use their crests very differently, a little bit more. And also, predators around that time for Brontotheres would actually be like say the Entelodonts and also Hyaenodons. And so those would probably be the animals that would give Brontotherium a little bit of a worry, because probably it would be wary of Hyaenodon a lot more than actually like say Archaeotherium, the Terminator, or otherwise the Hell Pig. And so those would actually be the characteristic of that. And so the Entelodonts would probably more likely just go after the juveniles a little bit more. Same thing with Hyaenodons. And so that way. And there's a very famous fossil site. Is actually, I think it's in Nebraska, and it's called the Ash Beds Fossil Site. And where you actually see is like this rock deposit, and it actually has like all these Brontotheres and other types of mammals that were buried under like feet of ash from a volcanic eruption, and it's actually just spectacular. I haven't been to this site. I was planning on to when I was in Nebraska at one point, but didn't have the time to make it. But it's actually a very unique site. If you actually look up the site, it's actually, you can just see the pictures of the skeletons just laying there, and all that sorts of stuff. And they're kind of positions where you actually see how the animals actually died. And some of these bones were actually jumbled together too. So you gotta wonder, was there like animals kind of actually starting to trample each other while they're being buried. But anywho, Brontotherium for extinction just couldn't adapt to the changes in environment, and also the new herbivores, like the horses were getting bigger and also faster, and also the camels were actually getting a little bit bigger and faster, and also predators were actually getting getting smarter and faster. And so that's why you actually see like the bear dogs actually start to come in the Oligocene at that time. And that's how you actually have Brontotherium or Megacerops going extinct. Alright, that's it for now. The next week will actually be an answering questions episode. So if you got any questions about dinosaurs or any other prehistoric life, feel free to email me at dinochrist71@gmail.com, or just go on my Facebook page, Prehistoric Facts with Dino Chris. Like the page, you can actually post your questions in the comments section on any Facebook post, or even post them in the wall. You can also And remember, keep your questions short and to the point. You can also follow me on Twitter at CSGRALL. That's my Twitter page. You can post critical stuff on there. Also, take care of the people around you. Notes are for you younger people out there. Make sure to listen to your parents, your teachers, and your guardians. It's the best motivation you can have for a good education. It's very important to have a good education. So with a good education, you get a good job in the future. All right, that's it for now, and I'll see you guys next week.